hello from me, Lazarus IDE. Welcome to the next lesson about Lazarus IDE, the programming environment. But right now, I'll tell you first, that I'm already working on my third book, in which we'll also look at some very interesting things. We'll do a practical serious sales program in AA store. We'll call it my store, and also we will also look at new components that we haven't looked at before, and some that we have looked at but will expand their consideration. In other programs more complex we'll show them and explain them. So, we're currently in my second book. Here are the free chapters. We are working on them, and we're currently in chapter 5. Sender Object Parameter in Lazarus IDE. Let's open the PDF file. If we are creating components, we have reached the third lesson on Sender, in which we will look at dynamic creation. When we create components dynamically, we want them all to use the same event. We can use Sender to recognize the component. Here's an example. In which we set a common event handler and we display a message when any of them is clicked. Here's what that would look like. Let me show it in a practical example. Here, we press here and it showed that button 1 was pressed, button 2, button 3. This is according to this program. Here we'll look at another one. This time in this example 2 programs. So the second part will be another interesting way to recognize buttons using the tag property. And now we'll talk about how it can be used below in this example, and in the next point the tag property and its use together with sender. This is a property of many components in the Lazarus IDE, not just buttons, which we can use to store additional information. This is a numeric property, which takes a value from 0 to 65,535. Now we'll use it by adding it to the form creation procedure, by setting it to be equal to the button serial number. Here's the code in it. You see, the tag will be from 1 and will accept the specific number. And here's the code in the second procedure, which will simply display the messages, which button was pressed, and we'll write it like this. And why do we use the tag? Easy identification. Instead of using different handlers for each button, using the tag we can combine them into one handler and to find out which button was pressed just by the value of the tag. This makes the code cleaner and easier to manage, especially if we have a lot of buttons. And here we don't those tag transformations like sender as button, because we have direct access to the tag value, which makes the code simpler. Here's the next example. I compiled it. Here's a similar way to the first one, but here the internal mechanism is different. That's all for this tutorial. Best regards.